Hey guys, Shaggy here, aka Regina. Welcome to my updated garage tour video. It has been exactly 1 year and 11 days since I posted my initial garage tour video, which was on the 11th of October last year. And that was, when the game was new. So I didn't have that much money and my car selection wasn't that great. I think, we only had 10 car garage at the time. Now we've got 20 cars in total with 2 garages, 10 each in them. So I'm going to be showing you all 20 cars with both garages. Now, the first garage I'm going to show you is my racing garage, where all the cars within this particular garage is what I use for racing with different classes. So, the most superior cars within each class category, which I prefer to use in a racing environment competitively. So, first of all, before we get into that, I want to say I managed to get to level 500 or rank 500, whatever you guys want to call it, purely just from racing, which is very, I don't know, it's crazy. I think getting to 500 in a year's time is kind of, I don't know, it's alright, I guess, getting that just from racing. You get 5,000 RP from winning races and average about 5 minutes depending on how many people you have in your lobby. And all my money I've made from GTA mostly is from racing in itself, because if you win a 5-minute race, on average you get from, varies on the length of the track, you get from 13,000 to 8,000 or whatever to about 16,000 to even 20,000. So I love the fact that racing is such an easy way of making money. Anyway, point is, let's get started. First of all, with the Turismo, this costs, as you guys can see, $500,000. I went for some generic, sort of customization. Main purpose is for racing, which I use for supercars. Now it's my preferred car that I like using. You can see the exhaust there. I didn't want to go with the titanium or whatnot. Didn't really suit the car. Went with the black plates as well. Decided to go with a nice chrome tip exhaust instead. Obviously the spoiler option, I prefer this one over the other, but that's up to you guys, but I just generally like it. So that's my Turismo there, 500k. Now moving on to the Zentorno, which is my alternative option, which I did use this car for majority of my racing time on GTA 5. This costs obviously $725,000. I recently changed the spoiler as well. I didn't like the last spoiler option. I don't know, it felt a bit too mainstream, and honestly it didn't really seem that attractive, although it does look nice and for a certain period of time when you first see it, but then over a certain, after using it for a while, you kind of get bored with it. So I decided to go with a nice street spoiler carbon there. And also another thing you notice is the chassis itself is side blaze primary color instead of the normal sort of black color you notice. Changed that as well. Generally speaking, the front as well, I wanted to go with the original look, so I decided to go with the stock hood instead. I really like the way it's sort of dented in with the vents itself, so like that design as well. So really worth it. This car is insanely overpowered, I suppose you could say, with the suspension system and the way acceleration works on different parts of the road, creating so many variables, which we've talked about. Anyway, that is the 2 supercars that I have for racing. Now moving on to the sports, we have the Felter. One thing you'll notice is that with these wheels, I decided to go with off-road for racing. As you would know, it increases traction and it's smoother going over curbs, which decreases the chances of random stupid crashes over curbs. But also the smoothness is obviously there for traction as well. Now, Felter in itself costs $145,000. You can see I decided to get rid of the initial Ricer spoiler, the last one, the massive wing, because every time you take an apex cornering and you go really tight, if this little pole hanging out from the side, your spoiler can get clipped onto that and your car will start doing fucking, pole dancing and shit, which, you don't really want that in racing. So definitely with going with that. And also another thing you notice at the front is I've gotten rid of the initial bumper and decided to go with I suppose a stock front bumper, because I didn't really like the thing sticking out from the front. I suppose I balanced out from just having the rear one there only, and I also just decided to stick with the fenders to give it that balance, so it looks really nice. And other than that, generally speaking, everything else, the roof vent and the headlight cover being the only option available. Honestly, they need to bring variety, man. It's $145,000 for that, like I already mentioned. Alright, moving on to the Massacro. This is another alternative option for the sports. Slightly a few changes to the modification for the visuals and whatnot with my preferences. For the front bumper, you see the splitter. For the rear, you see the race rear diffuser, which you see there. But certainly you're focusing more on the front. I've gone with quite a few changes, which you'll notice I've gotten rid of the fenders. Just definitely gone with the stock there. as I don't know, I just didn't really suit it because I changed the front bumper. You know, generally speaking, looks really nice and neat and simple this way. The initial racing option I didn't really like, although it looks really beastly and whatnot, but it ruins the general beauty of the Masacro. So that's that. Now also for the hood as well, you can see your race vented hood and obviously race slide skirt, which makes it look nice as well to go with the front and the rear, with given the balance of the diffuse of the black, and of course the front just being pure red. So generally speaking, all of the car colors which you see here are the same. The metallic Torino red, pearlescent ice white, you guys will see that on the screen as well. Masacro being $275,000 is definitely worth it, and it's down to preference of racing style. You know, both these cars are very different to each other when it comes to handling, but they are very competitive against each other depending on the track. Yet again, off-road tires, but I really like it, I really love it. And the spoiler, I decided to go with the original color as it will sort of blend in with it, because generally speaking the spoilers do ruin the look of the Masacro in itself. And that was a voice crack, holy shit. And obviously you need to have a spoiler for racing, as it'll improve downforce and traction. Now here's the thing. Now moving on to coupe, of course we do coupe racing. Now this is the Ubermax Zion or whatever you want to call it, brothers. This cost $60,000. We decided to go with a high-level spoiler, so I don't sort of ruin the original look. I mean, the spoiler itself does look disgusting, but no other choice before racing. You got to use it. Obviously, stock roof, and then roll cage and chassis upgrade. Of course, you guys know that. And the big bore exhaust at the back with a stock hood on the front. You know, you do have a carbon hood option, but decided to go with the stock. But definitely the bore exhaust there looks really nice with the black plate on the back side. So that's that. Moving on to the sedan racing, you want to obviously go with the shafter here, which is not actually purchasable. You can't purchase this. I'm sure Simeon would request this, or even you can find this when it spawns on multiplayer. It's quite rare at times, but if you have someone that has this car, then it's quite easy to get a hold of. So pricing is unknown, as you know, obviously. And decided to go with a nice customizable option there. Obviously the initial look of this car has obviously a secondary color as well as the primary color, but I didn't like that. You know, that I felt that sort of ruins the luxurious look of this car if you were to add a secondary color. Now the skirts in itself, one thing you notice is all custom, and even the roof is stock. The hood itself is vented, and generally speaking the grills as well, I didn't want to change that. I wanted to keep it stock because it would keep the logo of the car there and the original feel of the car. I didn't want to rice it up too much. This spoiler also is a lip spoiler, so you know, every other spoiler wasn't that great. This one is pretty much, doesn't ruin the original feel of the car, makes it still look nice and lush and luxurious. And of course, other than that, chrome tip exhaust, which obviously if you guys saw at the back is my preferred one for this particular car. It goes really well with it. Now moving on to the Dominator for muscle car racing. So this is, oh by the way, obviously Ubermax Zion, I don't know if I mentioned it, it's for coupe racing, coupe or coupe racing. Now for the muscle, got a Dominator. This is my preferred car, although a lot of people do complain about its oversteering, but that's down to the driver if you can control it, and if you understand how to use this car, it's absolutely amazing. Decided to go with a metallic black secondary, which definitely suited this car. Another thing you notice with the window vents, that really suits this car. I really like the bestiality look to it. And of course the exhaust is a titanium exhaust, which is kind of a generic look to it. Didn't want to go with any other exhaust. This really suited that. And the grills is generally speaking is stock. Everything else sort of ruined it. You know, the other sort of gives an extra headlight, which doesn't really look great because it's already got a few headlights on the front anyway, so what's the point of making it look like it's got a freaking, well, let's not go there, but it won't look that great with other grills. Now it's got a stock hood, decided to go with that, and also skirts being custom, which is definitely required for custom skirts, and of course the spoiler being a ducktail spoiler. General pricing of this is $35,000, which you can also find on free roam as well quite easily. So moving on to SUV racing, we've got the Huntley S here. This is something that is really fun to drive. Braking does suck, so you got to really pay attention to braking points and braking early and whatnot, high speeds. This does have great top speed. Once yet again, you can see off-road tires and whatnot. Decided to go the front sort of stock roof, the vented hood, of course, you can see there. They don't want the hood to have the railings on the side, sort of a holder for bikes and whatnot, because it will ruin the racing feel of the SUV. Also, you see the exhaust, dual exhaust, or dual exit exhaust, sorry, which does suit this with the black plate yet again, giving that racing vibrant feel. Other than that, the pricing is $195,000. Moving on to Coop Classic. For sports classic racing, this is my preferred car to use. Although Z-Type is rather dominant, I still like using this for sports classic racing. It's a challenge to use, to control the oversteer. It's extremely fun. And yeah, understanding the car once you master it can certainly benefit with its acceleration, like we know is very superior. So this costs $665,000. Price is questionable, but that's up to you guys. I mean, it's a sports classic. What do you expect? Hood being stock. Also, another thing you notice is the bumpers itself. It's primary color bumper, right? Decided to go with that. They don't want any of the speciality of the other options. We'll just make it an overkill. And of course, secondary color rear bumper. The exhaust being race exhaust does look really nice. I mean, there's another option for the side exhaust, but I decided not to go with that, as it's I don't know. I just rather have these at the back to pay attention to the initial revs and the animation shown from the exhaust. Now, what you notice is another thing, obviously the roll cage being there, as always, for every car. Everything else is pretty much it, basic. That is Coop Classic, not much available there, but still nice to have customizable options. But moving on to compact racing, we have the Panty. The Panty is actually really nice. Got quite a few customizable options, but once you figure it out and really get to your preference, it can look really good. Decided to go with bodywork stock. You know, nothing much for the bodywork. Bumpers, extreme aero front bumper, which you'll see here. So it looks very plain, but at the same time looks nice and thick with nice caliphage curves. Actually, you know what? Quite flat at the back. Never mind. Oh, another thing you notice is the stock rear bumper there. And other than that, higher tuner exhaust. That looks really nice with the blue plate, titanium plate, whatever you want to call it. It's actually a blue plate. What I'm talking about. The color combo goes really nice with the Panto. And the grille itself is stock. Yet again, the stock. I'm not a huge fan of grills on this game, as it ruins the original look of the car. Sports skirts, as you see there. Color coded wing definitely goes well with this. Every other wing, I don't know, it's not really my taste. And of course, $85,000 is the general pricing. So this is my racing garage for all the types of races that I do. These are the cars that I would select. So we got you know, sports classics there, compact racing there, muscle here, SUV here, coupe here. We got the shafter sedan here. We got the sports options for alternatives, and we got the super alternatives. So that's pretty much the racing options I have here. So generally speaking, as I said, the colors for these cars are the same. Every angle looks different. The reason why I chose this color combo is my favorite. Red is obviously my favorite color, but also the ice white pearlescent really shines and brings the redness out of the car. Although it's got a lighter tone and it doesn't have that dark. In some places, some angles without the lighting, it's got darker tones. So I like the mixture of the vibrant sort of colors it shows from the red, you know, at different angles. But generally speaking, ice white definitely goes well with Torino red as a pearlescent. So thanks for watching. Wait a minute, we got one more garage to show. What am I talking about? Right guys, welcome to my free roam garage. Let's start off with the Bullet. This is a car that I have always been a huge fan of in real life, of course, the Ford GT. And I've you know, haven't had this for a while. Recently got it. You know, got to show respect to the Ford GTs, man. Although it's not the greatest when it comes to comparing against other supercars and the viability for racing, generally speaking, it's still a great car. The general looks and bestiality and just the raw sheer power that you get from this car is absolutely amazing. The wheels, by the way, is the SUV Fagom. It's the actual name of this, is the SUV wheel. So if that's something you're interested in, this one obviously costs $155,000, which is a decent price for a very nice looking car. Now, obviously, we've got the Entity here, which I did used to use for racing in the past, but ever since Centorno came out, this has gone into the cupboard. It's quite dusty, you can see, but hey, it's one of those things, man. It's got pretty much ricer options for customization, as you don't really have a choice, you know, when these customizable options came in, the spoiler only being one option, the skirts being one option, the bumper being one option. So really speaking, if you want to customize it, you pretty much have to, you have no choice but to use the options given there. So everything else is pretty much, you can see on the screen, is quite the same for most people, except, you know, you probably would have to, if you want, I suppose you could say, where is it? There you go, the initial bodywork custom side vents. Some people might take it off, that's up to you guys. But generally speaking, this is $795,000, and it's a great car still to use in racing to this very day. I use it every now and then, that's why you still see the off-road tires there stuck onto them just in case I'm in that mood. Now moving on to a nice sort of visual point of view why I have this still, although it sucks for performance when it comes to other sports like we've seen for our car v car episodes. I mean, pricing questionable, as it doesn't have that worthiness for performance, but like I said, visually speaking, quite a few similarities for the Chameleon that is you know, only available for collectors, but generally speaking, it does look really, really nice just to have in the garage, and also just for free roaming, hanging about on the sides and going for hit and runs and whatnot. So a really nice car, the Furor GT, pricing at $448,000. Similar wheels to the Ford GT there for SUV Fermor. Now, moving on to the Elegy. Now, this is the only car in the game that I have no idea what the color combination is for. A lot of you guys have been asking in the videos when I did the car v cars against others with this. And honestly, I don't know. I have no idea what it is. It looks a bit pinkish yellow to me. I tried to figure it out, but I could not get the combination. I did this ages ago, but I have no idea how I managed to come up with that combo of colors. Certainly metallic with a pearlescent, of course. But generally speaking, the Elegy here, interesting combination with the modifications that I've gone through. So let's talk a little bit about detail. So first of all, the bumpers at the front, you got a carbon front splitter. Decided to go with that. Looks really nice. Doesn't have too sort of over exaggerated on the side like the Felter. Let's also remove that at the front, as you know. And of course, on the rear, we've got the carbon rear diffuser, which is a generic sort of not a generic, I suppose. It covers up the backside, and generally speaking, looks much better than the previous one that I had, which was the last option, which did not have the carbon on above the sort of the exhaust area. So exhaust being a race exhaust, which looks really nice in the Elegy, so I'd just generally speaking going with that. Of course, the grille, I decided to go with just generally black grille. Just the black grille looks really nice. Nothing much going on there. It just really sort of gives it that shape, that Californian curvy shape on the front. So here's another thing, right? The hood being vented, nothing much going on there, but this looks really nice with the combination of the bumpers and the roof being stock. Didn't want to go with carbon there. Custom skirts 4. It looks really nice because it matches up with the rear bumper, the way I've sort of chosen that. And of course, tuner wing looks really good on the Elegy. I didn't really like the final two options on the Elegy with the spoiler with the carbon wings, and the wheels being of course the Super 5 Sports. And of course, you know, this car is free, so there's quite a few options there for you with different versions and variants of the Elegy, and decided to go with this variant, which in my opinion looks really nice and what I prefer driving with. So I've shown you all angles here. Moving on straight to the Sultan RS, which we know, you know, takes quite a bit of time to find. And once you do find it, you're like, oh shit, you gotta get this car, man. From previous GTA 4. Previous GTA, which obviously is GTA 4, we had this, and it was really good to drive with, really good to race with as well. It still is, of course, and if you can master this car on this game, you can really get some nice racing going on with this car. Handling is superior. One thing you notice, once again, I didn't stick with the secondary color, because something about this car, man, yet again, I'm not a huge fan of secondary colors, man, like for any car, generally speaking. I decided to go with my favorite, red Torino with pearlescent white. Starting off with the bumpers, custom splitter and obviously intercooler, which you see at the front, which is a general option which most people do go for. Why not? It's got the greatest change and also change for the good. Carbon rear diffuser, and of course the exhaust being titanium tuner exhaust, which is sort of a simple option there. Double vented hood, definitely going with that. Keep it simple and nice. And of course, not much carbon on this particular variant, as a lot of carbon does go into the Sultan, generally speaking. Roll cage as always, and stock roof, custom skirts, high level spoilers, which is something that I wanted to go for. And sport wheels with rough weld, really good combination for the Sultan there. And this often is, I believe, requested by Simeon if you want to find it, or obviously it spawns on multiplayer, but you can't purchase this. Same with the Futo. You know, this is another one that I decided not to rice up, you know, with the options given for customization. Absolutely awesome for drifting, as you would know by now. Retro racer kit for the front bumper. I wanted to have the original logo of the Futo at the front of the bumper, so I decided to go with that. Of course, for the rear, we have the drift bumper. I really like that, the way that is shaped. And to combine with that, I would decided to go with a ducktail spoiler to give that sort of a nice mirror effect. If you were to put a mirror halfway through, you get a nice effect there. So it almost looks like a duck's mouth. Now, roll cage being that roof spoiler, decided to go with that. Really like the way this design looks. Decided not to go with Sultan. I decided not to go with front flap thingy, the sun hood, whatever you want to call that shit. What is it called again? It is a hood. I can't remember. I just don't know what it is, but you guys know what I mean. It's not there on this particular variant. But anyway, just wanted to point that out. Custom Sturks, but other than that, it's a rare spawn. You can find this around the dockyard areas, but I like this combo. It's certainly viable, obviously, for racing. If you were to do Futo only racing, sorry, not against the other sports cars. But anyway, moving on to one of my favorite luxurious cars, man. This is actually beautiful, alright? This is the Cognoscenti Cabrio. The Enos Cognoscenti Cabrio is absolutely amazing. What is it? $185,000 for this, man. No customizable options. I also decided to get rid of the suspensions and make it stock because generally speaking it doesn't look that nice, especially when it's a luxurious car, and I wouldn't use this for racing. I would generally just free roam with it, and it looks beautiful. As you know, it's a convertible as well, so you're gonna get this awesome mechanic for that, which looks really damn cool. You see that? It is really nice both ways, convertible and non. I sort of slightly just prefer it being a non-convertible like this, where generally speaking the rear design, it looks absolutely brilliant. So that being $185,000, certainly worth it, with the wheels being high end and option being a blade. Moving on swiftly to the Banshee. Now, what you notice about the Banshee is the initial bumpers being carbon front bumper and the hood being a hard carbon hood, so it gives a nice combination of stripe going all the way down to the front bumper. I like that. Now the exhaust on the side here, you see that's pretty much the dual exit exhaust and the carbon hood. Like I said, high level spoiler definitely goes well with the carbon hood at the front with the combination of the colors, and of course the wheels being the Sports Endo V2, and this price range $110,000. Absolutely nice combination there. Moving on to the Albanese Roosevelt. This is from last year's Valentine. Well, actually this year. Was it this year? Yeah, earlier this year, my bad. Earlier this year they announced this particular vehicle for a temporary period of time between February until the end of February, I think, and this costs $750,000 originally. And the sale price is $448,000, which is decent. It's a pretty rare vehicle, I guess you could say now. I wanted to keep this because it's sort of like a pimp mobile. You can also use this for heist for. It's just for fun times. I just like this car because it handles great as well. It's not the greatest for speed, but generally speaking, it's a nice looking rare sports classics, which I just wanted to keep. It looks nice with the wheels, if you want to call it, low rider dollar wheels, but that's pretty much the only exception for that particular vehicle. But moving on finally to the Regina, people, man. Now, the Regina is one of those cars, man, where we decided as a crew to get this. We're going to try and do some Regina racing for you guys. It's the slowest car of them all, and it's pretty damn fun when it comes to racing, because you really should not be making mistakes with this particular car, so it should be interesting. Hoping for, the way I visualize it is 16 cars right on each other's ass, but you know that would never happen. But generally speaking, it's 8,000 quid, $1,000. Low rider classic rod wheels, and that is pretty much it. No customizable options whatsoever there. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the garage tour here. You know, this is, as I said, my free roaming garage, and you can see from different angles each car looks different with the color, but It's just the way the lighting is. The only exception is the Elegy with a different color combination, but every other car has the same color combination of Torino red with ice white pearlescent. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, as I said, and I'll be posting more. Expect to see the subscribe for more GTA 5 content. Be sure to drop a like if you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what cars you guys have in your garages or even vehicles, because you guys may even like motorbikes. One thing you notice, I'm not a huge fan of motorbikes on this game, mostly a car fan. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Shall you sign out? Good night, peace. Yeah. Hey guys, you here, right here, yeah, welcome to a 5 AM commentary. Wanted to get this out for you guys real quick. I know it's been 1 year